It takes a while for something that was clean to become corrupt. Corruption could be identified as decay or eroding. When you have incorruptible seed, it is impossible for that seed to erode or decay out of your life. The seed of God in you is generating and germinating purpose always. It don't matter if you're in the hospital bed. If you've got the seed in you, it is not dying away. It is not being destroyed. It is not destructive to you. The seed of God is incorruptible, which means it never loses its value. It's a galvanized ingredient in the DNA of your purpose. Nothing can make it fade, weaken, or slacken its track and its gravitational progress in your life. Nothing can. Some of you have been scratching your head wondering what in the world's going on. And I came by to tell you, honey, everything is all right. It's all right. How do I know it? Because all things work together for the good of those that love God and are the called according to his purpose. So even if it don't look right, it's still right. When people are acting stupid, you keep smiling because God has got your back. I dare you to touch somebody and tell them, God's got your back, honey. God. So he says, the seed that is in you is incorruptible in its nature. So he says, you're not born of corruptible seed. When you were regenerated, the seed that is in you is continually germinating and generating power, purpose, provision in your life. What did God say about it? Now, David, Acts 13:36, served the purpose of God in his generation, and he fell asleep. I told you before, I'm going to tell you one more again. When you serve God's purpose, you don't die. You go to sleep. Are y'all in the building here? He fell asleep. Purpose has a way of making you relaxing. Relax. Let me tell you, when you start serving people before you serve purpose, you create problems. Because people ain't never going to get enough. They're going to drain you of all the virtue you have. But when you serve purpose, purpose will tell you sometimes to walk by that person. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. Sometimes purpose will tell you don't answer that call. All right, Pastor Rick, behave yourself. So, let me see how we want to go here. I'll give you about 10 more minutes here, we'll be done. There's a difference in systematic order and spontaneous order. Spontaneous order operates through emergent behavior and emergent structure. In other words, it's order that shows up spontaneously when it's needed. It's the Millennium Bridge rebelling against forward motion until the people, 80,000 strong, found the same pace, and then the bridge in front of them behaved itself. When people are not walking in accordance to God's pace and order for their life, they cause a disruption in their future. But if you can ever get the people walking with you in the same cadence of your personal cause, then everything that's whipping in front of you will level out and you'll go through on smooth ground. Are y'all in the building here? Some of y'all are walking with people who do not have your pace. Tell them, I'll be back in a little bit. You're not ready to walk with me. If they cannot stretch out there and cover some ground with you, tell them I'll catch you on the next cycle or the next circle, but right now. And sometimes God will tell you, you got to leave this kind. All right. When God created his own ethnos, he called a man from a different ethnicity. There was no God ethnos. There was no Jewish race. So God reached into the Gentile community and called out a man just to see if he would do what he said. which was leave your kind. If the man agrees to leave his kind, then God takes him and he begins to form his own nation. Do you believe me? Okay, I'll prove it to you. Genesis 12, verse 1. The Lord said to Abram, leave your country, your people, your father's household, and go to a land I will show you. Now watch this. If you will do it, I will make you a great nation. That's how Israel is formed, through Abraham's obedience. Then he says, I will make you a great nation, which is your own generation, and I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. Now that's a good opportunity for you to look at your neighbor and tell them, do yourself a favor and bless me. Yeah, all right. He says, I'll make your name great and you will be a blessing. God has a plan. God has a purpose. And God has a people for you. Are you with me right now? I'll say it one more time. If you're caught in a congregation of people, which is your community or your hangout buddies, friends, whatever you want to call them, that are not walking in the cadence of your personal calls, cut them off and tell them I'll check you later. Don't be mean. Just tell them me and you are walking it. God said you can't put an ox and an ass in the same yoke. Because oxes and asses don't walk at the same pace. I just read the Bible. Don't look at me funny. I ain't cussing. All right. So he says, number one, leave. Then he says, go. Which the revelation is on this wise. As you go, I will show. He didn't even tell him where he's going. He just said, go. Some of you haven't seen because you ain't never left. I ain't seeing nothing, Pastor Rick. You ain't left nothing. As you go, he will show. 8 times in 3 verses, God said, I will. But he will not reveal his will while you're being still. You got to move. You have to grow. You have to change. You have to transition. You have to progress. And as you move forward, he begins to show you. I always tell people this. Destiny comes by discovery more than decision. I was just talking to somebody the other night, and they're trying to define and decide. I said, why don't you just settle down and discover? Enjoy the journey. Life is a journey. Full of questions. The root of question is quest. You are on a quest. You are a why waiting to happen. Not a when, not a where, and not a how. You are a why. Why answers purpose, reason, cause. Quit asking where, who, when, how. And start saying why. Why do I exist? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all tired. All right. All right. Now watch this. Many times when we become impatient in the revelation of purpose in our generation, we create destructive devices. We start manipulating the mission because we're impatient. We want it, and we want it now. We want the place. We want the provision. We want the people. We want the power. And we become impatient, so we start manipulating the mission by our own devices. Are y'all in the building? Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans of a man's heart, but God's purpose will prevail. Make your plans, but you have an underwriter. Y'all know what an underwriter is? An underwriter is money man. Your underwriter is when you jack it up, I got your back. And God said, many are your plans, but my purpose will ultimately prevail. His purpose is always good. Lord, I didn't come in here to preach, but I feel like I might have to preach right here, Mother Hayes.